All right, we're back for another spell video to talk about all the spells that got changed in test room. A lot of spells, man. So much to cover. Some stuff that's not even on the patch notes. But hey, we don't really talk about that on this channel. But let's talk about all the other spells that got changed. If you haven't watched the previous video where I talked about some spells that got changed, whether it be the hot and dot changes, I'd probably titled it something along that way. But in this video, we're specifically going to be talking about the shadow spells. Now, specifically the shadow enhanced spells like Nested Fury, Iron Sultan, Rosalka, Lamasu, Wing Sorrow, and Lulu. All those spells are back in. Basically, we had a while back, we had like teasers and stuff like that. Even I was given teasers for the storm spells saying like, hey, there's a path B for Iron Sultan and all these other spells, but they were taken away, and people were wondering, well, what happened to them? Almond did a teaser, other people did teasers with all these path Bs of their spells, but they just disappeared. Well, there was bugs with those spells. Yes, they would put an infinite negative aura or infinite positive aura on the player. So in return, they just had to you know what, scrap the spells for now. Not really scrap them, just kind of just like hold off on them and be like, hey, we can't add them to the game yet. Let's fix this aura stuff and then we'll add them back. So that's why this video is existing, so I can talk about all those spells once more for you guys, so you guys can better understanding or maybe a reminder of what those spells might be. So if you do enjoy this type of content, remember, leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Join Discord. We're slowly approaching 2K members. We're on that grind to 8K subs on YouTube, and we're on that grind to 3K followers on Twitch. Check out all the links below in the description. I can't even speak, in the description. And I appreciate all you guys. So there's that. But yeah, I love all you guys. Love all the support on the videos. And we've been crazy support ever since I came back. A lot of you guys have been missing me, and I'm trying my best to make content while being extremely busy making raid guides and extremely busy with college. I'm trying my best to balance everything, and it's very hectic. It's very hectic, I will say so myself. But enough about me, enough about what's been going on. Let's talk about some of the spells. Now, let's start off with Nested Fury specifically. Nested Fury, where is it? I'm like over here looking at my stats because I'm wearing the wrong gear, but it's fine. We have Nested Fury. Now, top path, remember, it did get that damage increase, which it should already have in live realm, but the path B is back. The path B, specifically what it does is obviously it's a select target, but it does damage, specifically balance damage, so it's no longer that little random thing where it'll be like ice, fire, storm. Just strictly balance for advanced content, as well as it does 550 balance damage, and it puts a negative aura on the enemy. Now, this negative aura means that they have to take, it's basically like a starfall, which is minus 30% outgoing. See right here where it says right here, damage outgoing the dick caster of the spell. If you're ever wondering, I've gotten questions about this in DMs, how am I doing this where I'm just popping it up? All you do is right click the card. Maybe I should have made a video about this. I mean, this feature came out like a couple months back at this point, but I just never really talked about it. But yeah, you can just right click the card. But yes, if you ever get confused with an icon, just hover over it and it just tells you what that icon is. So yeah, it is 550 balance damage, puts a negative aura on the enemy, and it is a negative aura where anything that they do outgoing damage wise is a minus 30%. So very interesting to see. I've talked about this before in the past, but still, it's still worth bringing up. Now, obviously, this is a select target spell, so you can select multiple targets of this and it will put a negative aura on each enemy. So there could be some tech behind this in the future where we're like, hey, we need to put negative aura right away on 4 people, just so it does some sort of effect, maybe set up some sort of conditional. I don't know, I'm just giving you guys some ideas. But hey, Nested Fury is back and it's here to stay. Who knows if this is an infinite aura anymore? I'm pretty sure it's fixed. They wouldn't have brought back the spells if they weren't fixed. So yeah, they're fixed. They're good to see, and I would like to see some use cases of this spell. And remember, it is lasting 4 rounds. It doesn't really say. I wish that they have like a thing where it's like the more targets you split, the less value of the aura. It just doesn't say it on the writing. I wish it says it somewhere, but you just kind of have to like test it out and see how long the aura is on multiple targets and what the percentage is of the aura as well. So there is that. There's Nested Fury. Now let's jump over to my favorite spell, Iron Sultan. Now, I love Iron Sultan. I've said this multiple times. I love the animation. It's a funny animation, bro. He comes out the sky, slams the floor, laughs at your opponent, and then slams the floor. Like, what else do you want? Like, that is just a funny spell in its own way. And yeah, it just resonates with me, man. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it's a cool spell. But the path B is back, so it's doing damage. Of course, I was testing it out. I don't know if I have the footage anymore, but I was testing this out and seeing how long the auras last on multiple targets. But yeah, it does 4. or it requires 4 pips as usual. Nothing changed regarding that, but the path B is back, where it puts the negative aura on the enemy, as well as what it does, it lasts up to 4 rounds, and it's chromatic. So whatever enemy that you are fighting, for example, if I'm fighting an ice enemy, it will put a minus 40% ice outgoing damage aura, right? So whatever their main school is, not what their secondary school is. So if you are trying to fight a dual mob, right, let's just say it's a mob that's ice death, it's more likely going to put ice because it's ice death. Ice is its primary, death is its secondary. So when you're fighting mobs, just pay that close attention. I'm curious at what it does to a shadow enemy. I've never tried it, but I assume it might just do like universal or balance or something. I don't know, but very interesting to see. And yes, you can split this against multiple targets, and just remember the value will probably be changing on the aura, as well as you know, the amount of rounds it lasts. So a couple things to keep in mind regarding Iron Sultan, but still, it's still a good spell. It's the same, it falls into the same boat in my opinion when it comes to the previous spell we talked about with Nested Fury, where it just has a use cases with the negative auras. These spells just have negative auras and positive auras depending on which ones we talk about. So that's why I'm like, Iron Sultan does have its use cases. It really just comes down to if you really need that negative aura in multi-target scenarios. But when it comes to like PvP, we'll have to see how people are using this, because you know, this is a shad, and with negative auras and positive auras, it just takes one little replace. You can just pop a, you know, brace over this. Oh, now that negative aura is gone. Or maybe you clear the negative aura with like with like other spells, you know. So it's like a couple things you have to be wary about when it comes to Iron Sultan. But still, I mean, I like the spell. I'm always gonna like the spell. It's a cool little animation. Now let's move on to Rusalka. Rusalka is back, like I said, back in my teaser video when I talked about Rusalka a couple months ago, saying how it got a path B, did that little intro, but then it disappeared, remember? Because, you know, positive and negative auras had its issues. But it is back. It's doing 905 at max tier, and it gives you a positive aura depending on what school you are. So if I'm using this, you know, because you can learn Rusalka on other schools, but if you get Rusalka on like a death, this would be a positive 40% death outgoing aura. In disguise, it's kind of like a reinforcer frenzy, but without no, you know, conditional, because like this is 40%, right? This is just still 40%. But if you look at, for example, like reinforce, or I don't have a frenzy, or I have a frenzy but I don't have a reinforce on me, but you know how like frenzy, what it does 40% outgoing damage, but you take 30% incoming damage. Rusalka doesn't give you that. It just gives you the outgoing. So it's nice to just see a card that just does that. I don't know, there's like a nice feeling about this. Same thing in general. So it's really good. You can use it on other schools. Just, you know, just keep in mind that if you are trying to do some damage with this, you are going to need storm stats. It does scale off of your storm stats when it comes to the damage. I always have to preface this because people forget how spell damage works. It's a storm spell. It does storm damage. It's going to be scaling off of your storm stats. Now, of course, if this was like a life spell that did like death damage, it's still going to scale off your life damage because it is a life spell. So, little interesting things that you need to know. But yeah, it does a chromatic aura based upon what school you are. So if you want to use this on a death, ice, storm, balance, whatever, it's going to do your school. So glad to see Rusalka back in its good glory. I know a lot of PP players are looking forward to this spell. I'm pretty sure people have been waiting for the spell to come back, but ever since it was an infinite aura, they had to fix it, and that's why it was gone for a while. So there's that. Another spell that's back is Lamasu. Now Lamasu does damage, so you can split it between multiple targets, of course, as well as it gives you a 45% outgoing for life damage. 4 rounds is kind of crazy. 45%. If we're comparing this to Rusalka, I mean, Rusalka obviously has its pit value and everything like that. While this is just life, it's life only, while Rusalka is using it for chromatic base, while this one's hard stuck life. We'll have to see how many people use this, because the thing is with positive and negative auras, I always have this thing where it's like it just takes one spell to replace it. And I know people can make the same argument for like blades and traps. It just takes one, you know, one counter. But like with blades, traps, everything like that, you gotta like usually waste more than 1 pip. When it comes to like negative auras and positive auras, you can just use a 0 pip and gain value from that. I mean, unless for some reason one day I wake up to Frenzy having 1 pip, or Starfall, or Brace, or Stabilize all having 1 pip. I hope that never happens. But yeah, it's just like those little things that kind of like make me think like, hey, this is the 45%. What is a pip value on this? But the shad is going straight into the utility, so that's something you got to be wary about when it comes to these spells. But there's Lamasu. There's nothing crazy about it. You know, when it comes to advanced content, using this on multiple targets, you're probably not. I don't really see use cases of Lamasu being used in advanced content for PvE, like challenge modes and stuff, or raids. I just don't. Unless for some reason this aura bugs out again as an infinite aura, then maybe we might have some use cases. But yeah, no, this isn't coming back when it comes to, or it's not going to be useful in advanced content or challenge mode. PvP players obviously own take, but PvE people don't stress about this card too much. I mean, unless you want to use top path and just be like, yay man, I'm using Lamasu while questing. Go for it, man. Go for it. Now the last two Shad enhanced spells I want to go over are Wingsar and Lulu. I couldn't redeem them from the test shop on my Storm. I don't know why. I understand why about Lulu, but Wingsar I couldn't, so I didn't get why. But let's go over to those Shad spells and quickly go over those as well. So let's go over to Lulu first. Now Lulu, if you want to get the spell elements for this, you do have to do PvP, kind of tragic, whatever. I've already talked about it in the past. But yeah, you do need one spell element and you have to do PvP to get this one spell element to use it in advanced content. But what it does 385 death damage and it's a drain, and it puts a negative aura that's minus 130% outgoing for 4 rounds. Of course, if you split it amongst multiple targets, it's going to do less value on the round slash aura. But it's a very straightforward spell, and I don't know if this will see so much use cases in death, because death has like other spells that they can use. I feel like that's just my take on it, but obviously I'm not well acquainted in the PvP matters when it comes to that type of stuff. But when it comes to PvE advanced content, I don't know. I don't really see use cases for this. We kind of brought this up before. Doesn't really see some usage in my opinion, but it's just very straightforward. And then lastly, we do have that Wingsar that I quickly want to talk about. Same thing, right? We did have that top path where it just does damage. Cool. Now this path B doesn't do as much damage because all that Shad rating, or the Shad pip, is going straight into the utility. So you're getting a minus 65 outgoing negative aura. So literally just an infection aura is what I'm just going to call it. Infection aura. But yeah, last 6 rounds, more targets. Oh, this is not even a split spell. I was about to say split spell. This is just a single target. So putting this on one enemy in the last 6 rounds, don't know how I feel. Like I said, it's maybe it's just because I'm the way I view auras and negative auras. You can just put one spell to replace it. I mean, hey, you are wasting a round to replace it, I guess. So there is that. But yeah, this is just an easy replace, and it's only this spell is only usable against an enemy that is healing. I know some people might bring this up in the new raid and be like, hey, can I use Wing Sorrow on one of the mobs or like the boss in the new raid, because there is a boss in the raid that literally just spams heals. Can I use Wing Sorrow on him? There's no reason to. I wouldn't pack this card just for one specific fight when you can just use like other spells to counteract his heals and just do damage. So I wouldn't stress too much about this spell. Maybe PvP players have their own take, but just me viewing this, I just feel like it falls underneath a very niche category of, hey, is this person heal spamming? Does this person just like really love using spells that just give them health back? Then yeah, but I don't know how I feel about that. But I'm more excited realistically for the Sokka, Iron Sultan, and then maybe the Nested Fury. But at that point, if I really like the Nested Fury, I should like Krahulu, but I don't. So there's that. But that is it for me. Wanted to just dedicate a video for the Shad spells that are coming back with their Path B, so you guys are worried about them. They've been out, like I said, since like the initial release of like the teasers and stuff like that, like a while back, even when I got my Storm teasers. But the thing is, those spells got benched because, hey, these spells with their auras had infinite rounds. So there was some bugs that they had to fix, and now they're finally back in this test realm and then slowly making its way back to live realm. So if you want to farm up your spell elements preemptively, go for it, right? There's already spell element guide on the channel, so definitely go out and farm your spells in preparation of this. But that is it for me. Leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Check all the links down below. Like I said, Discord, Twitch, all that type of stuff. Hop on over there. I do try to stream whenever I can, and I'm going to be streaming the new raid whenever it does come out to live realm. I'm going to try my best to do multiple runs on stream whenever I get the chance to, and teach other players, because I don't really have an issue with this new raid. It's actually pretty good, other than the bugs, but it's pretty good raid no matter what. But yeah, enough for me. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.